Hello guys. Welcome to my channel. This channel all about news and gossip celebrity in the world. Don't forget like and subscribe. Here at Reality TV Uncovered, we explore the controversies that rock your favorite series in depth. Welcome back. One of the most combustible family dramas in reality TV history is what we're talking about today. Behind the scenes, however, the Roloff family story has devolved into a nightmare of treachery, avarice, and court cases. Recently, Matt Roloff gave his fiancée, Caryn Chandler, half of Roloff Farm. Unexpectedly, though, Caryn sold her stake for $3 million to an Australian businessman. She married and permanently left Matt Roloff after the sale. Her covert partner. After this occurrence, Amy Roloff, Matt Roloff's ex-wife, and her husband, Chris Merrick, asserted that they should own a portion of the farm. They maintained that since the farm has long been a part of the family's history, they should also be entitled to ownership. New conflicts and tensions about who owns the property have therefore arisen within the Roloff family. Chris Murray and Amy Roloff went straight to the police as the argument reached its climax. Station and made Matt Roloff the target of a case. Stay tuned for chronological analyses, insider information, and the implications for the show's future. Click the subscribe button if you're a new visitor. We must go back to the beginning in order to comprehend the insanity that is currently taking place. Despite his size, Matt Roloff had lofty goals, and in 1990 he and his then-wife Amy bought what would become Roloff Farms. It was a little 34-acre Oregon tract at the time. However, Matt had an idea. Rotate it. Becoming a prosperous place for agorism. Hair rides, kid-friendly adventure zones, and pumpkin patches. In the Pacific Northwest, it became a Halloween tradition for families. The farm was more than just a company. It served as the Roloff family center. There, Matt and Amy brought up their 4 kids. Jacob is the youngest, Molly is the daughter, and Jeremy and Zach are twins. The Roloffs became well known after their lives were portrayed in the 2006 TLC debut of the show Little People, Big World. The farm grew to more than 100 acres over time. Acres, worth millions of dollars. However, fissures appeared early. Due to personal disagreements, conflicting visions, and the strain of farm life, Matt and Amy's marriage fell apart. After 28 years of marriage, they were divorced in 2016. Amy kept half of the farm as part of the settlement, but in 2019 she sold it back to Matt for $667,000. In 2021, she married Chris Merrick on the farm grounds, and the couple moved to a nearby house as a sign of their continuing relationship. Meanwhile, Matt started dating the farm's longtime manager, Caryn Chandler. They get engaged in 2023 after their romance flourished. Because they saw it as a second chance at love, fans cheered them on. However, as we shall see, love and legacy are not necessarily compatible. Time travel to the beginning of 2025. After the pandemic, Roloff Farms had record levels of visitors. Now 63, Matt was considering his future. Insiders were stunned to learn that he gave Caryn half of the estate in March 2025. According to family-friendly sources, this was intended as a show of dedication and a means of securing her position in both his life and the company. Caryn's been by my side through thick and thin. This farm is as much hers as mine. Matt allegedly said this to friends. But was it true? The transfer of 50% of the land, including important assets like the pumpkin farm and event spaces, valued at approximately $2.5 million at the time, is confirmed by legal documents filed in Washington County, Oregon. Amy remained silent in public while seeing from a distance, although it felt like a slap in the face. She confided in friends in private. She did, after all, construct that farm. Nobody could have predicted that this transfer would start a firestorm. This is when the delicious and painful parts begin. In June 2025, a few months after the relocation, Caryn Chandler took the unimaginable action. For an astounding $3 million, she sold her just-purchased half of Roloff Farms to Marcus Harrington, an Australian investor. Harrington, a Sydney real estate magnate with holdings in agorism, viewed the farm as a great chance to increase his holdings in the U.S. market. In order to avoid rapid public attention, the sale was completed quickly and discreetly through a private LLC. But word quickly spread, and the consequences were imminent. Matt was caught off guard. According to insiders, he didn't find out about the sale from Caryn herself, but rather from a lawyer's call. He was heartbroken. According to a source, Matt believed that this was about creating a future together, but Caryn had different ideas. What plans did those have? Get ready. Caryn left Matt permanently shortly after the sale and moved to Arizona, where she married David Ellis, a retired contractor she had met on one of her solo excursions and who had been her secret boyfriend for more than a year. Online images from their small wedding in Sedona showed Caryn grinning in a white dress, a far cry from the rural existence of Oregon. This turn of events is even more startling because David, 65, has no connection to the reality TV industry. Did Caryn have a long-term strategy? Some people think she used. Before moving on, she secured her financial independence by using the farm transfer as leverage to pay out. Matt made a vague public remark on Instagram in July 2025. Despite life's unexpected turns, the farm perseveres. In private, however, he was incensed, feeling deceived after years of devotion. Caryn hasn't said anything, but her behavior says a lot. This was more than just a split. Matt was left with half a farm and a broken heart after a well-planned departure. I've spent years researching families like the Roloffs. This type of, in high-stakes reality TV dynasties, betrayal is common. Matt's shift was foolish yet romantic. It rarely works out well to combine love and business. Caryn's sales implies that she felt trapped or underappreciated. Getting married to her hidden lover is a classic rebound story with a vindictive twist. She was released by the $3 million payoff. But at what expense to the family's legacy? The fans were furious. Caryn's treachery and the #Justice format went viral on social media. Caryn was always shady. Remember her farm manager, one fan wrote on Twitter. Days. But let's take a closer look. Did it predict anything? Hindsight is 20/20 THS. Yet Matt disregarded Caryn's indications of desiring greater independence in season 25 of LPV, which aired in 2024. Caryn said, "I've given so much to this farm. It's time for my own chapter." The Roloff family was in chaos since half the land was now owned by foreigners. Here come Chris Merrick and Amy Roloff. Amy, who had long since sold her stake, watched the scenario play out with increasing rage. Only a few weeks after Caryn's death in August 2025. Shocking revelation, Amy and Chris openly asserted that they should have a portion of the remaining business. Their disagreement. The farm is the result of decades of work and tears from Amy's family. "I've given that location my whole being." In a rare interview with People magazine, Amy stated as much. "It is ours for the children and grandchildren, not just Matt's." Chris, who works as a real estate agent, supported her by pointing out that the first divorce settlement contained clauses pertaining to possible family access and buybacks. They maintained that Amy's contributions were erased and the farm's togetherness was upset by Caryn's selling. At a family get-together, or what remained of one, tensions boiled out. Jeremy remained neutral, according to sources, while Zach and Tori Roloff supported Amy. After years of estrangement, Jacob referred to it as karma for Dad's ego. The arguments swiftly became more heated. Acrimonious phone conversations, claims of partiality, and rumors of long-standing animosities coming back. Amy said Matt made a mistake by putting his trust in Caryn. Amy sold out, so Matt retorted that she had no right to meddle. Amy and Chris have a weak case from a legal perspective. The terms of the divorce settlement were unambiguous. Amy voluntarily sold her portion. However, it might proceed to court if they can demonstrate emotional duress or that the farm's past suggests continued family rights. Complicating matters is the involvement of the Australian buyer. International law may be involved. However, words become deeds. Amy and Chris marched to the Washington County Court when negotiations broke down. Sheriff's Office and brought a civil case against Matt on August 5, 2025. The complaint requests a court-ordered redistribution of ownership, possibly returning 25% of the property to Amy, and alleges breach of implied family trust and undue influence in the Caryn transfer. Amy's claims are detailed in court records that our team exclusively obtained. The farm was not intended for visitors, but for generations to come. In his countersuit for harassment, Matt argues that Amy's behavior is driven by jealousy of his success. The situation is scheduled for a hearing in October 2025, but rumors indicate that settlement negotiations are already in progress. The agriculture is harmed in the meanwhile. Amid the controversy, visitor numbers fall by 20%, and the arrival of pumpkin season is questionable. This is not the first time that this has happened. Do you recall the agricultural feud of 2022? Negotiations broke down over terms and pricing when Matt offered to sell parts to his sons Zach and Jeremy. Citing toxicity, Zach relocated his family to Washington State. Jeremy purchased a farm of his own. Back then, Amy's sale was thought to be her way out, but she regrets it now. She confided, "I assumed Matt would keep it in the family." Chris, who usually mediates conflicts, has become aggressive, possibly because he sees a commercial opportunity. What about the children? Zach's quiet in public says a lot. The drama is over for him. First, Tori shared mysterious family-related Instagram stories. Molly and Jacob have separated, and Jacob's accusations of abuse against Matt in 2021 have further fueled the flames. Caryn's part. Although she is portrayed as the bad guy, some people stand up for her. She was worthy of that sum of money. Following years of labor. Marcus Harrington, the Australian buyer, has not commented yet, although he intends to rename the farm Pacific Down Under Adventures, which is a smack in the face of the Roloff moniker. First of all, Amy is correct. That farm belongs to the family. Matt made a huge mistake. Caryn, the second fan, is a gold digger. Well done. This program must finish. Fan 3. Too much actual suffering. A failed mediation in late July marked the height of the hostilities. Tears, accusations, and screams. Without cameras, it resembled a live episode of the show. According to reports, Matt stormed. Amy sobbed as she declared, "This is my farm now." She swore to fight for her grandchild's future. Season 26 is in uncertainty. What does this mean for LPBW? A family crisis special is causing TLC bosses to panic. The drama increased the ratings. But at what price? Matt has alluded to stepping away from television in favor of the farm. Amy's memoir, Legacy Lost, is selling out on its book tour. Chris is using his knowledge of real estate and may be considering a spin-off. Caryn is living life to the fullest. Arizonan living, sharing sunsets and fresh starts. The farm itself is precarious. Will Matt be able to repurchase the share, or will Harrington develop it? Legal experts estimate that a protracted battle will cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Conflict is the lifeblood of reality TV, but this may be too genuine. The broadcast may switch to individual stories if the litigation continues on. Family is shocked by Amy's new life. The farm, however, was the center. LPBW may terminate without it. Remember that families like the Roloffs are human as we come to a close. They gained recognition from dwarfism, but wealth and treachery are commonplace. They make up. Time will tell. Leave a comment below with your opinions. Amy or Matt's team? Additional updates. Details from Matt Roloff. A gloomy day. What took place? Is Caryn Chandler expecting a child? What caused the dissolution of the Little People, Big World family? Tori and Zach's new company is faltering. How are they going to make it without the show? I'll explain everything now. Matt Roloff, star of Little People, Big World, recently told his fans about his recent embarrassing day. Anyway, what happened and what led to Matt having? What a horrible experience. As season 25 of Nothing People Big World draws to a close, nothing is known about the venerable brand's future. Many people thought that they would not see Zach and Tori Roloff again. They had formally quit the program along with their kids. Naturally, it also doesn't help that there hasn't been a definitive announcement about the franchise's future. In light of this, you need to follow the cast on social media in order to get regular updates. This can help those who are experiencing withdrawal symptoms from Little People, Big World. Recent posts by Matt Roloff suggest that he and his group were having a very spooky day, despite the fact that it is obviously not the same as having access to the entire season of episodes. What specifically occurred in this case to make the situation so dire? Matt's neighbor has a large herd of cows, it turns out. Matt advised his followers that using cow dung is the greatest way to grow pumpkins. Matt and the other members of his crew have had to deal with mounds of cow poo in order to support the growth of the pumpkins. Matt and his colleagues are more than willing to help his neighbor dispose of this cow manure, provided that it is disposed of every few years. Despite working for a shady company, it is obvious that they are supporting one another in this circumstance. Matt Roloff continued by informing his little audience that 3 dump trucks were working diligently on the manor. Because of this, everyone bears a great deal of responsibility. Matt's most. It turns out that fans of Little People, Big World left a lot of comments on the most recent update. Someone has to work in such a job, even though it is ultimately dishonest. Matt Roloff's Instagram followers. One reader commented, "I wish I could get my hands on some manure. That time of year has definitely arrived. Have a great day, everyone. I'm glad it's a manure-type day," said another person. "I got the impression that you were having a terrible day. Hee hee." A third person went on, "I'm glad to hear that your awful day is over. I was scared of you for a second, but it looks like you'll have some happy pumpkins. Why did the Little People Big World family disband?" Many viewers of the reality show believe that Matt Roloff's family disbanded because he was too self-centered. Matt, his children, and his ex-wife, Amy Roloff, were the focus of Little People, Big World. Before the show's premiere, the Roloffs were a happy family running the Roloff Family farm, but after their divorce, viewers noticed Matt's inflated ego, which affected his interactions with his family. After Matt attempted to sell the family farm, disagreements over who should own it grew more intense. Fans of Little People, Big World knew that Matt and Amy Roloff were having a difficult time, so their 2016 separation was not particularly pretty. A Little Me is Amy's memoir in which she claims that Matt started seeing Caryn Chandler while they were married. Reasons for the breakup of the Little People Big World set Zach and Jeremy, Amy and Matt's twin boys, were born 3 years after their September 1987 wedding and had a daughter Molly in 1993 and a boy Jacob in 1997. Season 25 of the reality show suggested that the couple's split was over more than just drifting apart. The reality show, Little People, Big World, focused on Matt Roloff, his children, and his ex-wife, Amy Roloff. Their dwarf son, Zach Roloff, and his brothers were the focus of the show. Before the show started, the Roloffs were a happy family running the Roloff Family farm. Amy and Matt's separation caused conflict in the family, and following their divorce, viewers noticed Matt's inflated ego. Season 25 of the reality show made it clear that the couple's 2016 split was about more than just drifting apart. Amy and Matt Roloff's twin boys, Zach and Jeremy, were born 3 years after their September 1987 wedding, and they welcomed a daughter, Molly, in 1993. Matt's attempts to sell the family farm exacerbated the conflict over who should own it. After filming wraps, you need to give yourself a break, but when the show comes out 6 months later, it reopens old wounds. The dust has settled, but nothing has been done in terms of actual fixes, Zach says. Amy's memoir, A Little Me, claims that Matt started seeing Caryn Chandler while they were married. Zach and Tori Roloff acknowledged in a May 2024 episode of Raising Heights that they had a tense relationship with Zach's father, Matt. As Zach puts it, those involved in the family issue are still in denial, believing they did not do anything wrong. Information leaks via social media, and it is disheartening to discover that others share your thoughts because it makes you realize, oh, I thought we were kind of leveling out a little bit. Zach dismissed the entire situation as online drama and denied that he had prevented his children from seeing their grandfather. Throughout the podcast segment, the former reality TV star also hinted at the cause of the family conflict. Matt finds that he has a stronger bond with his 2 younger children, who have chosen to live their lives in the shadows, and he believes that things will get better in due time, even though he acknowledges that narcissism is to blame for the current situation. "I am not sure if more time will help." Went back to Roloff Farm with his own family. He is taking advantage of many opportunities on the more than 90 acres of land. He and his family, including my son Matteo, his wife, and me, work as farm hands. He went on to say that Jacob was the relative he saw the most. Additionally, Matt visits his only child, Molly, in Spokane, where she lives with her husband, Joel. Caryn and I occasionally take weekend trips to northern Washington, where she and Joel frequently. When Matt Roloff's son expressed interest in buying a portion of their property, Zach and Matt Roloff's relationship took a turn for the worse. Matt then changed his mind and decided to turn the property into a vacation rental for short stays. Molly and Joel spent a few days in Arizona taking advantage of the weather and going to the local zoo. It's always a pleasure to meet up with the gorgeous Molly, Joe, and Joel. The main issue was that his twin sons, Zach and Jeremy, wanted to buy the Roloff house and farm from him in the fall of 2021. Being twins, they have always been very competitive, but in this particular instance, I simply could not allow one to triumph over the other, Matt wrote on Facebook, adding that strict laws governing property division in Oregon existed. Matt admitted that he increased the amount of land in the trust account, despite the fact that the house decreased the size of the North Farm. That was a tough one, Matt said, adding that it was extremely difficult and occasionally downright traumatic to watch our family fight play out on the TLC reality show. In retrospect, I would change a couple of my practices, but all in all, it was beneficial. I believe the results are more fulfilling, and it's amazing to watch the kids learn their interests and strengths in a manner that is exclusively their own. Does that mean that Zach and Tori's new business is doomed? How are they going to make it now that the program is over? Little People, Big World, Zach and Tori Roloff's family sitcom, is over. For a period, a TLC show featured their family dynamic on a regular basis. But after a while, the LPBW actors made the decision to end their life out of the public eye. Their admirers were devastated by Zach and Tori's difficult choice. They were distressed since they were unaware of the couple's post-breakup activities. Fortunately, the reality TV stars discovered another way to interact with their audience. The details of Tori and Zach's podcast, Raising Heights, were revealed recently. Initially, their social media following was very responsive. For updates on the couple's lives and their families, fans rushed to their most current videos. The crowd doesn't seem to be interested in Tori and Zach's new business. Each and every time, when Tori and Zach Roloff, stars of LPBW, provide an intriguing update about their lives, it sparks conversation. There hasn't been any significant drama about them on TV for a number of years. The cast of Little People, Big World's loyal fan following helped them become well-known and wealthy. A lot of people noticed that they were leaving the family program. When the TLC show's next episode aired, viewers pondered what would happen to the couple. Following the release of their latest podcast, The Raising Height, Tori and Zach put a stop to all the gossip. They wanted to share their journey's tale in a unique way. Fans therefore thought it would be an excellent way to draw in customers and make money. People initially seemed to love Tori and Zach's new podcast. A sizable audience tuned in to hear more about their favorite couple's remarkable lives. In addition to sharing heartbreaking tales, the reality TV stars podcast included a variety of parenting advice. Tori and Zach didn't seem to be able to hold the attention of the crowd. Their initial episodes were watched by a sizable audience. The TLC duo only needed one episode to overtake Audrey and Jeremy's podcast. At first, between 100,000 and 1 million people viewed Tori and Zach's podcast videos. The couple was quite surprised to learn how well-liked their new company had become. Recently, they have only received between 30 and 40,000 views, despite their best efforts. Fans are worried how they will survive if their podcast endeavor fails. Furthermore, except from Tori's work as an influencer, the TLC stars have no other source of consistent income. LPB stars Tori and Zach aren't hesitant to express their thoughts on a range of topics on their podcast. The duo receives a lot of praise from the audience for their positive perspective. This time, however, the TLC stars have taken the exact opposite action. Recently, Tori talked about her experience having an abortion following her miscarriage in 2021. The reality TV star acknowledged that she was afraid to be in the same room as other ladies getting abortions. Zach understood the issue and felt sorry for the victims. He believed that individuals shouldn't pick such option in other circumstances. Zach's admirers were incensed by his statements because they felt that someone with his level of privilege shouldn't say such things. Furthermore, they thought he was unaware that other people required abortions. Not today. What are your thoughts on today's gossip? Tell us in the. To receive more updates like this, leave a comment and follow us on YouTube. Thank you.